Hey guys, Zaman
And Christina
from Our Rich Journey. On today's video, we are talking about what they don't tell you when you retire early. You see, Christina and I have been retired early for almost 3 years, and there are so many different things that we have learned in early retirement that we want to share with you guys in this video. And these were some things that we knew ahead of time, but that a lot of people that were talking about retiring early or within the FIRE movement fail to mention whenever they start talking about this concept of early retirement. And so on this video, what we want to do is we want to talk to you about some of those things. And so if you are on your FIRE journey, you can use this video to help better plan for success.
So we are going to get into the secrets of FIRE. We actually have 6 secrets that people don't know about FIRE. But before we get to that, if you are new to our channel is all about making, saving, and investing money on the road to financial independence. Aman and I pursued financial independence. We reached our goal and we retired before the age of 40. So if you're interested in learning more about how to make, save, and invest money, make sure you subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram, and check out our blog at ourrichjourney.com. So let's start off with the first secret, which is applying for a mortgage or any type of loan is going to be a lot different when you're in FIRE compared to pre-FIRE. So when you're working and you have a normal 9-to-5 job, you have that regular income coming in to demonstrate that you can pay off that loan that you're applying for. When you reach FIRE, you don't have that normal 9-to-5 job income. Instead, you have to rely on the income from either your real estate investments or your stock portfolio. And so that means you have to have really good and detailed accounting to support whatever loan you're applying for.
So in other words, you must have a plan for how you will finance big ticket items if that is your plan to get a loan. Now, in our case, when we moved here to Portugal, we have bought property. And when we bought that property, we did not use a loan. In fact, we bought all of our properties cash. Now, this was something that we completely planned for when we were devising our financial independence retire early plan. But if you are doing something like this, where you are going to move somewhere else and buy a new home, you have to think out how you're going to be able to obtain that mortgage to buy that home. Maybe you buy that home in advance, or maybe you check with the bank before you retire to make sure that you can use your retirement income from your assets to qualify for that loan.
And so we mentioned us moving abroad, and that's another thing you need to consider about your income coming in. So a lot of times in order to qualify for a visa or a residency permit in another country, you have to demonstrate that you have enough income in order to pay for all of your expenses in that country. So if you are going to be retiring in another country, you also want to make sure that all of your documentation with your assets, either in real estate or your stock portfolio, are very detailed and that can demonstrate that you can satisfy all of the income requirements for living in another country.
The next secret about early retirement, about FIRE, is living off of your portfolios using the 4% rule. Now, the 4% rule is something that most people that are pursuing FIRE know all about. And we'll leave a link in the description below to a video that explains everything about the 4% rule. But essentially, this rule is that you can withdraw 4% from your stock portfolio in early retirement and essentially never run out of money. Year in, year out, the 4% rule is supposed to be applied according to the Trinity study. But in reality, a person that is in early retirement using this rule applies it with some flexibility.
And what we mean by this is that the 4% rule was based off of historical, hypothetical portfolios. When you actually reach FIRE, you're going to see the volatility of the stock market. You're going to see crashes and bear markets. And when these things happen, you have several different options. One is to apply that 4% rule very stringently, still pulling 4% even during massive drops in the market. Or you can apply flexibility, which means possibly pulling less than 4% from your portfolio, or turning to an emergency fund and living off of that emergency fund until the stock market recovers.
And if you guys have been watching our videos, you know about our stock market emergency fund because we talked about it in March of 2020 when the stock market fell more than 20% alone in that month. And at that particular time, we were considering switching over to our stock market emergency fund. And see, our emergency fund is over 2 years of living expenses. And so if the stock market would have continued to crash, we would have been using that emergency fund to live off of instead of withdrawing from our stock portfolios.
The next secret is that when you're in FIRE, the idea is that the principal balance of your investments never goes down to zero. Instead, you're living off of the growth of your portfolio, like the capital gains. You're also living off of interest and dividends. Now, this is a big shocker to a lot of people, especially people that don't understand FIRE, because if you ask someone, how much money do you think you need in order to live off of in a stock portfolio to never have to work again? People will tell you $10 million, $20 million. They really don't have this concept of how to properly withdraw from their portfolio so that they can maintain that principal balance.
And Christina is completely right. This is something that shocks people all the time because most people think they're gonna live off of their investments until they go to zero. But that is not the case. You are not living off of the principal. You are living off of dividends, interest, and capital gains. And in some cases, you're not even living off of all of that appreciation. You're just living on 4% of that. So in actuality, your portfolio in financial independence can grow to even greater amounts.
Which leads us to the next secret, which is when you're in FIRE, you can actually still be an active investor. So this means you may still have money coming in when you're in FIRE that covers more than just your monthly living expenses. Maybe you have Social Security, a pension, and like Aman said, you're still getting interest and dividends coming in from your portfolio. You might also have real estate profits that also exceed your expenses in retirement. If you are covering all of your expenses in retirement and you still have additional income coming in, that means you can continue to invest in FIRE.
And this is exactly what me and Christina are doing now. This is how we are still able to talk to you guys about investing because even in FIRE, we still invest. And this is all a part of our plan to grow generational wealth for generations to come. By still investing in financial independence, in early retirement, we are still able to grow our wealth. The next secret about FIRE is that people that have achieved it are stealthy wealthy. And what I mean by this is that you cannot identify someone that has millions of dollars and that is financial independence when they are the type of person that has pursued FIRE. And we are good examples of that. You see, on our journey, we lived a life of intention. And that meant we were very modest with how we spent money. Of course, we had a good time when we were on our journey, but we weren't living a life of flash. We didn't live in a giant house. We didn't drive a fancy car. We weren't wearing a bunch of jewelry. And that has carried over into our early retirement. You see, Christina and I are millionaires, and you wouldn't know that unless you watched our YouTube videos, because other than that, we live a life of intention, and we don't flash our money.
So along those lines of living a life of intention, let's go to the last secret, which is that you can remain productive and even make money while you are in retirement. So if you enjoy doing certain things, it doesn't mean that just because you've reached FIRE, you need to stop doing those things, especially if they continue to generate money for you, for example. The idea with reaching FIRE is that you have reached financial independence and you can spend your time however you want to do that. And that can include being productive and then also continuing to make money.
And this is one of the most beautiful things about FIRE, is that you have choices. You have freedom. You have quit your job. You have taken those 40 hours back and you can do with them whatever you want to. And a lot of the time it means pursuing your passion. And so if those passions happen to also make you money, that is a win-win. So whether you're productive in making money, or you're productive and not making money, or you're giving your time away to others, it doesn't matter because you are doing what you want to do because you've earned that freedom. So those are the 6 secrets that we have about reaching FIRE. You see, Christina and I pursued FIRE for 8 years. We quit our jobs and we are sitting here in financial independence and retired early. And there's one overall theme that is just wonderful and is probably not a secret to you guys, that we are enjoying our freedom. And so we hope that everyone can get to this point. And we hope that this video has given you some food for thought on your journey. And so if you like it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and join the journey.